If you have the ambition to become stronger, if you have the desire to be tougher, if you are one of the crazy people that actually enjoy evolution, change, radical self modification, radical self transformation, well, this podcast will be a treasure for you. Because today we are going to understand the real nature of evolution. But more than that, we are going to understand the real value that brings when you develop your own programs for evolutions. So, if you are ready to take a significant jump in your life, if you are determined to change significant aspects of your life, if you are ready to evolve, well, my friend, open your heart, open your mind, open your spirit, because today I will teach you how and why there is no problems in life, only evolutions. And welcome, my friend, to the Mastermind Podcast Challenge. Season 2 with your host, Dr. Derek Israel. And just a brief announcement before we uh, go into our subject of today. I will share my screen real quick because I want to recommend um, a new thing that I am doing in YouTube that you may find some value. So if you go to YouTube, if you go to my channel and you look for Serenity Derek Israel, you will hit this video that I uploaded yesterday. It's called Serenity Metaphysical Yoga with Dr. Derek Israel live demo. Okay. Serenity Metaphysical Yoga with Dr. Derek Israel live demo. And it's this thumbnail. So what I'm doing, if you enjoy yoga, if you enjoy meditation, what I am doing is I am doing almost every day a live on my TikTok, just doing what I call metaphysical yoga. That is a combination of different systems that I have been learning through the years that help me to evolve my spirit, right? Techniques like, for example, hatha yoga, kundalini yoga, pranayamas, meditation, sitting meditation, concentration, mantras, affirmations, workouts, bioenergetics, holotropic breathing, Wim Hof method. What else? Um, Dynamic meditation, I haven't applied that yet to the metaphysical yoga, but basically I am doing some experiments, and I have been developing this system for years. This system that I call metaphysical yoga, and that means that is a type of yoga that is not only focused on the body or in the biological aspects, but is more concentrated into the metaphysical, transcendental, God aspects of yoga. And so what I'm doing in that TikToks is I'm just showing my process. I am not explaining anything. It's not a class. It's not an education kind of content, right? For that, I have my own course on meditation. If you speak Spanish, it's only available on Spanish right now, but maybe in the future I will be recreating the course in English. But if you want to understand the fundamentals of meditation, you should go to that course. But in this type of free content that I'm sharing, I am not explaining anything. I'm just showing you, doing my practice myself. And I encourage you that you just uh, put the video and do the same. Like, just follow the routine. In that specific one that I showed you, it was a routine made for serenity, for being calm, for being relaxed. So if that is something that you think that will help you in your life, definitely go and check that out. But I will be uploading more in the future with different uh, intentions. For example, I did another one with the intention of change. I did another one with the intention of I don't remember right now. um I don't remember exactly the intention that I have been doing, but I will be uploading some of them, not all of them. If you want to watch each one of them live, you just need to follow me on TikTok. My name is Derek Israel, the same in all my social media, and there you can watch live. I'm not going in a specific time. That is something that, yeah, it's kind of a struggle to know where I'm going to be connecting, but I'm just flowing with the flow, right? I'm just experimenting with the platform, doing different stuff. And one thing that I am enjoying a lot is just meditating and doing yoga in the platform. So if that is something that interests you, come check that out. All right. So like 1 and a half ago, if you are doing the challenge, I am talking directly to you that are doing the challenge. We had an episode that was called God's Punish You Because He Loves You. It is a Spanish episode. In Spanish is Dios te castiga, por eso te ama. And in that episode, we discussed the metaphysical implications of pain and how pain can be perceived as the instrument in which God, the universe, destiny basically do work through you. Pain is the substance in which God transform your consciousness into a more loving, accepting, compassionate, present, all encompassing consciousness, right? And that was a very profound episode. A lot of people have written to me, um, just saying thanks for that episode. People have connected with that idea a lot, and I think it's a very profound idea. And today, in this episode about there's no problems, only evolutions, it is like a continuity or a complementary episode for that one. Because in that one, we were just trying to understand why circumstances arrive in our life, and we were trying to impose a spiritual model on them, right? Like, we were trying to change our mindset to think, okay, all my problems, they are not liabilities. They are not difficulties that are here with any purpose or with any meaning. Rather, they are designed by the whole structure of the universe for me to grow, for me to evolve, for me to respond. And in that way, I believe that we can be better fit to respond to all the circumstances that life will inevitably throw at us, that life will basically punch us in the face, right? When that happened. But that is not the end of the idea, because notice how that idea is just, in the ultimate analysis, is just reactive, or in the best case scenario, it is just responsive. And the difference between reactive and responsive is that reaction is just an impulse, you are not thinking it through, and responsiveness, at least, you are analyzing different choice options and you are deciding in one of them. So you are having more of a thoughtful approach and behavior. So, but either way, in reaction or respondence, uh, it's a defense kind of mechanism. You're not being proactive. In that sense, the proactive element is God. God is the one that is putting you in the test, and you are just responding to the test. Most people respond by being a victim to their tests. Most people respond by telling themselves how unfortunate they are and blah, 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 blah. This is not fair. This is not just. I'm not able to do this. I am not enough. And most people mostly quit. Maybe you are more powerful than that. Maybe you have been brain watching your mind, right, to be able to respond better. And maybe you face your problems and face your circumstances with a lot of courage and proactiveness, and you are a leader of the everyday life, and you respond pretty effective to your problems. But notice how still you are in the defensive side of things. You are still responding. And one thing that actually teach us the Kabbalah, and I continue to recommend this book to all people, The Power of Kabbalah. Just buy this book, dude. Go to Amazon and buy this book right now, The Power of Kabbalah. One of the things that the Kabbalah teaches is that the whole ordeal, or the whole purpose of existence, is to become more like God, more like the causal factor of existence. And if you are only in the effect side, if you are only in the respondent side, if you are only in the side of existence that reacts or that defend, well, you are not connecting with your ultimate power. That is the power of creation. That is the power of manifestation of your own circumstances, of your own programs, of your own evolutions. And that is the difference between the previous podcast that I was telling you about and this one. This one is more focused for elaborating yourself, you elaborating different type of programs that will give you pain, that will be painful, but at the same time they are necessary for advancing your own evolution. So where this idea comes from, Well, this idea comes from the Navy SEALs philosophy. And if you have been following my work for a time or for a long time, you should know that I am a student of warfare sciences. Sciences that are based on war dynamics, battle, combat. And I am not a fan of violence. I am not a pro war kind of guy, but I value uh, to be prepared. I value the training. I value the virtue that you have when you make man and woman a unit, uh, an army, a constitution of beings that are disciplined enough to work toward a goal in a disciplined manner, in a structured manner. I value that. So that's why I admire armies, and I admire, how can I say this, military programs, or yeah, military programs. I admire those, not because they are going to war and because they do violence to each other, just because of the discipline aspect that they bring. And I think that in there we have a lot of value. So what I do is I just study the philosophy of different armies. I study the philosophy of different um, science warfares, thinking, thinking and strategies and stuff like that. And I try to implement that in life, because in life, as in war, basically we are living in a battlefield every day. So we can apply what we learn in war in our own life. So one of the branch that I really enjoy studying is the Navy SEALs, and those are one of the most elite branch of the United States military force, military complex, how it is called, right? Industrial complex. And one of the things that I really find very interesting of the Navy SEALs is that they have this program that is called Hell Week. And in that program is basically the filter for how many of the people that wants to become a Navy SEAL will continue in the program and to become one day Navy SEALs, versus the one that want to become a Navy SEAL but they cannot do it. They quit. They remove themselves for the game. They are not fitted, maybe physically or mentally, by a limiting belief. So Hell Week is basically a training that will, you know, separate those that will actually one day becomes Navy SEALs versus the one that will go home, and maybe they can train more and come back and try it again. They can do that, and so many people have done it before. But most of them just they never come back because it's a very tough week. It's a very tough hell week, right? And I encourage you, if you are doing the challenge or if you're just passing by in this podcast, I encourage you to go to YouTube. This is a direct assignment for you. So I encourage you to go to YouTube and to look Hell Week, Hell Week Navy SEALs, and just to watch a couple of videos. I know that there's a documentary also that give you like what is going on in Hell Week in all the days. That is also very helpful to see if you want to understand better what I'm trying to say and communicate here with Hell Week. And also that will give you a lot of perspective on evolution and how we can program and why we should be directing our own evolution, as I will teach you to do today. So when I was doing my research, why Navy SEALs call all the tests, you know, all the difficult practices that they have in this Hell Week, why they call them evolutions instead of tests, right? Because you can call a thing, okay, this is a test, this is a training, but they don't call it that way. They call it evolutions. So, for example, if you are going to be running 3 miles in 30 minutes, right? That may be a challenge in Hell Week. I don't know. That is just an example. Well, that is an evolution. That is not a task. That is not for the Navy SEALs philosophy, right? That is not a, a job, a work that you need to do. No, no, no. That is an evolution. But why? Why they call it that way? Why they use that concept, evolution? So I was doing my research, and basically what I found is that this is a very old word that they use, basically referring to the gradual and incremental, never ending process of continuous change that exists in life. That is basically what they refer as evolution. You know, the process of elaboration in your mind, the elaboration in your spirit, the elaboration in your physical capabilities, in your own social intelligence, as a participant of a team, as a person that is relying on others to make itself the best self possible and the best team possible. That's why they call it evolution. And another philosophy that they apply to that word is that they understand that humans, we all have more potential than we are just reaching in our everyday consciousness. If we push ourselves through obstacles voluntarily, if we are forced to push through obstacles, our brain gives us our full potential. But only when, only when we are faced with adversity. If our brain, folks, are not faced with adversity, with the obstacle, with resistance, with the fire that mold us, then your brain will only give you the necessary energy, capacity, ideas, imagination, potential for action, only the necessary one to survive, but not more. You will be only surviving in existence. And you are more than that. You are not only a survival machine, you are an entity with the most profound technology in your being for developing change and evolution in the whole structure of the universe. You are a conscient, sentient being that is here as an image, a direct image of God living here in this mysterious existence. So it is a very good idea to tap into your own unlimited potential because that is your right. What else you will do? Living a normal life, living an average life in which you are not tapping to your most brutal, powerful, extraordinary capacity of being an operation. So that's why Navy SEALs make sure that they put those recruits or those prospects into fire, into pain, into the obstacle, because they know that the brain will reach a limit and it will do one of two things. It will either quit or it will evolve. And I want that idea to penetrate your mind. In face of difficulty, extreme difficulty, I am not only referring here to a little bit of difficulty, like, for example, to watch a boring lecture, or maybe, to do one workout per week. I am not talking about mild difficulties here. I am talking about extreme pain. I'm talking about, the most disruptive challenges that you can face in your existence. When you are facing that, your mind will either quit or evolve. Only two options. Because if your mind do not do that, your mind die, literally die. Because, for example, if if you are in a cold water, naked in a cold water, very cold water, and you are in there, right? Your whole body is in there in the water. If you don't quit, if you don't remove yourself from that water, soon enough you will die. But if you start doing some exercises, like trying to warm your body during, while you are in the water, and you do breathing exercises, like, for example, the Wim Hof method, that is an exercise that can bring a lot of hot temperature, warm temperature to your body, and you start maybe trying to adapt to the cold, well, you may evolve, and the cold will not kill you, and basically you are there dominating the cold. But if you don't remove yourself from the cold, or if you don't proactively do something to evolve to that environment, and you just stay there neutrally, right, just like this, suddenly you will die. Let's say, for example, if you are in a boat that is missing in the middle of the ocean, and you don't have any food, and you are with this guy that knows how to fish, and this guy fish two fishes, and he give one fish to you, and the fish is alive, it's jumping in your hand, it's raw, it is not cooked. What options do you have? Well, you can eat the fish and try to evolve as a human being to eat raw raw food, or you can remove yourself from the equation and say, I will not do it, and you will die if help do not come on time. Or you can try to literally eat the fish with all your might and try to not throw up. And I'm bringing this example because this is a real life example. I don't know if you watched the movie. I don't know. I don't remember how that. I think it's Unshakable. Let me watch. Let me search for it. Unshakable. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I will share my screen. I will recommend you this movie. It's a very good movie. I don't know. This is the one. Um. Where is it? No, it's Unbroken. Unbroken is the movie. I will show you. Okay, I will recommend this movie. It's a movie based on real life. And now I am confused. I don't know if this is the movie or not. But I think it is. I think it is the movie. Anyways, I will share my screen. If you haven't seen this movie, you should see it. It is called Unbroken, and this is the the cover of it. Survival, resilience, redemption, and maybe this is another thumbnail that you can appreciate. And I think, yeah, I think it is the same movie that I'm trying to. So basically, what happened to this guy is that he suffered an accident. He was in the military, and the ship in he was traveling in the ocean, something happened that they went to the ocean. The ship went down, and they were in a little boat in the middle of the ocean with no help. They were missing, right? They were all alone in the middle of the ocean, and they were trying. I don't know, man. I'm now thinking, is this the movie that I'm trying to refer, or is not? Anyways, I don't know if this is the movie or not, but the story is that there were three guys, right? And they were in the middle of the ocean, and two of them were able to eat the fish alive. But one of them, every time that he tried to eat the fish, he just threw up. It was so disgusting for him that he threw up. The one that was usually all the time throwing up, he died. The other two that evolved and basically became used to eating raw food survived. So that is just an example of life. Yeah, that is an extreme example. You are here in your house watching this podcast in your sofa, in your bed. You are not in the middle of the ocean, I know. But this is just a radical, extreme example of how if you don't evolve in difficulty, you really go extinct. And maybe you will not go extinct physically, like in this example, but you will go extinct culturally and spiritually and emotionally and psychologically. And those types of extinctions sometimes are worse than physical extinction. So that is the philosophy of the Navy SEALs. They want you to become adaptable. They want you to be able to eat the fish alive if you need to do it. They want you to be able to adapt to the cold water if you are forced to do it. Okay? And I want you to be thinking like this in your own life. But what is evolution? You may ask. Okay, Derek, I understand now that Navy SEALs call this evolution, that they want to promote change, and they want to uh, elevate the performance of their prospects, because they want to show them how in adversity you can become stronger and more leader and more focused and more powerful. But what exactly is evolution? Evolution have a lot of definitions, but one that I really like is that evolution is the process of becoming more complex and at the same time becoming more simple. That is my favorite so far, my favorite definition of evolution: complexity that becomes simplicity. So, for example, if you are learning how to fight physically, right? As Navy SEALs needs to do, they are becoming more complex human beings. because they have a lot of models in their mind, how to counterattack, how to block a punch, how to do a perfect kick, how to fight in the ground, how to fight uh, as a boxing style, how to fight as a wrestling style, how to fight with weapons. So they have all these models in their mind, and if you don't have those, they are more complex than you, right? They have more ramifications in their mind about this discipline and dexterity in fighting. But at the same time, if you are forced to fight, right? You are not a Navy SEAL, I suppose. But if you are forced to fight, what are you going to do? Where? Well, because you don't have the complexity of a Navy SEAL and you are in a club having fun and some dude or some woman go at you and slap you in the face, boom. And you're like, what the heck? And your brain go, you need to fight right now. This is happening. And this can happen. This can happen. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in clubs at 12 in the night, right? In the midnight. So because you don't have the complexity of a Navy SEAL, what you will do? Well, you're probably gonna start throwing punches, wah! Screaming, and doing your best to win the fight, but you will go with aggression. You will go with impulse, right? Because you don't have dexterity. You don't have expertise in fighting. You don't have complexity in fighting. But if we take you out of this equation and we put a Navy SEAL or just a martial artist there in the club, and the same guy goes there and slap in the face to the martial artist or to the Navy SEAL, and the Navy SEAL said in his mind, okay, I'm going to fight, what he will do? Do you think he will fight as you will fight? Do you think he will see that you will see him like very impulsive, erratic, throwing punches like crazy, like Jackie Chan style? No. Probably the martial artist or the Navy SEAL will just do boom, and that's it. Fight over. Like I have a friend that told me that uh, he was one day in the beach in Puerto Rico, and he was with his friends, and one of his friends brought another friend that he was, I think if he was a Navy SEAL. I don't know now if he was a Navy SEAL or if he was an Army Ranger. That is also like a very elite branch. But he was from an elite branch of the United States Army, and they were in the beach enjoying, right? And one drunk man was screaming at them randomly, saying stupid stuff to them, and they were relaxed. They didn't want to get into any kind of trouble, so they ignored the guy. But the guy became closer and closer, talking stupid stuff and stuff like that. And the Navy SEAL, he just stand up, went to the guy and kicked him in the face, and the guy was knocked out like for half an hour. Just one kick. That's it. He didn't say anything. He didn't, just bam. He kicked that guy in the face. End of the problem, right? So if you was the one that was in that beach, in that situation, maybe your response will be very different to the Navy SEAL. And maybe if you try to kick the guy in the face, maybe you can do it, but what is the chances that you will knock him out with one kick? I don't know. Maybe you know how to fight. Maybe you have evolved. Maybe you don't. So this is subjective, and each one of us will have different evolutions, different degrees of complexities in our life. But the thing is that look how simple in this in this example of the guy in the beach, how simple it was for the Navy SEAL or the Ranger to knock the hell out of that guy. So the complexity he has on his mind on terms of models, tactics, strategies of how to fight, the output or the externalization of that complexity, it is extreme simplicity. Just one punch, boom, that's it. So that's why I um I say to you that evolution, it is change to change towards complexity that becomes simple, that becomes simplicity in the end of the road. Because if you only have complexity in your mind, but you don't reduce that complexity into a simple element, to a simplicity, then that is not evolution. That is not evolution. That is just, we can call that growth, right? We can call that complexity. You are more complex, but you are not more evolved. To be more evolved, you need to be more complex and simple at the same time. In this example, if the Navy SEAL was not evolved and he have all these models, he will do the kick and he will throw a punch and he will do a backflip and he will then do like a, I don't know, he will climb a palm and he will throw himself like a wrestler to into that guy body, right? And he will do a lot of stuff because he have a lot of models how to fight. So he will do ninja stuff, and maybe he can kill the guy because he overdid what he should do. But because he was not only complex but also simple, he understood that he only needed one kick. Look how simple it was, his operation. Just one kick. The precise, specific, critical kick to knock the hell out of that guy. Boom. That's it. No more complexity. But to be able to do that kick, understand how much complexity he needs in his mind. He needs a lot. He needs a lot of practice. He needs a lot of theory. He needs a lot of understanding. He needs a lot of muscle memory to do that. But the output is just ping, go to sleep. That is evolution. Complexity transformed to simplicity. So, what is the fundamental idea of this episode? Or what is the truth that I want you to actualize in this episode as part of the Mastermind Podcast Challenge, Season 2? Well, this is the truth that I want you to go for it if you want. I want you to design your own evolutions. I want you to become proactive, developing, designing evolutions that will force you to be more complex and more simple at the same time. And I want you to do this on purpose, on discipline, and on structure. Because in the idea that I presented in the podcast about love, God's punish you, that's why he loves you. You are not proactively looking for that change. That is something that happened to you. In this episode, the fundamental idea is that I want you to be proactive with your programming of evolution. And I will give you some examples of how I have done this in my life in different areas. But don't just copy and paste what I do. Design your own programs, design your own evolutions, your own things that will make your brain give you your own potential, your own efforts to become more complex and simple in your own life. And this will make your life awesome because you will be growing so much if you implement these concepts of programming your evolutions. So, how do you do this? Well, basically, you are continually setting programs in your life. Programs are things that you follow. For example, this mastermind podcast is a program, it's something that I do every day, it's a system. Remember, the episodes systems works better than goals. If you haven't watched that episode, you should watch it because it's a very fundamental episode of what I will be elaborating for now on. Systems work better than goals. So we have the goal of being more complex and more simple, more evolved, more advanced as human beings. But what are the systems? What are the procedures? What are the methods? What is the methodology from which you are gonna basically evolve? This is the programming that I'm talking to you today, right? This is our this we can call this the evolutions. So, for example, mm, in your sexual life, let's start in the root. Let's start in the most fundamental aspect of yourself. When was the last time? I want you to answer this in your mind. When was the last time that you put yourself in a program of sexual development? When was the last time that you actually made a strategic effort to evolve sexually? So maybe you are in my sexual mastery course, right? And this is a course that is currently on Spanish right now, but maybe in the future I will be also doing it in English. So if you are in that course, well, you at least have a program to developing your own sexuality, because in that course I teach you how to become, from a beast, like the most primal form of a sexual entity, into what I call a sexual god. That is basically the most sophisticated, abstract, lovable form of a sexual entity. And that process, I call it the sexual mastery, right? Process. So maybe if you are in that course, you already have a program. But notice how that program was given to you by me. It's not your own program, right? Even though if you are in the course, you are better than the average Joe because you are at least, implementing different ideas in bed, implementing different ideas in masturbation, implementing different ideas on erotic technologies, as I teach you there, right? So go at derekisrael.com. Go to derekisrael.com if you want uh, to enroll in that course. Also, the link is in the description. Um, but even if you are in my course, you was not proactive in developing your own program. Yeah, you was proactive paying me the money and buying the course. And that is something. But even that, it is not the final ideal for you. The final ideal is that you actually make your own programs, because the only one that knows you is yourself. And you know your own biases, you know your own tendencies, and you know your own areas of growth. So you will be the only one that will understand how to develop your own programs. So, for example, in the sexual program, in the sexual aspect, when was the last time, dude? When was the last time that you actually put yourself into a sexual evolution kind of discipline in your life? Maybe never. Maybe when you was starting to having sexual experiences, you read a couple of books and you study a lot of, maybe you study a lot of poses and stuff like that, positions, dynamics, and yeah, you put yourself in a sexual kind of programming, and then you allow, you evolve to a certain level, and you found a couple, right, a relationship, and now you are comfortable there, and you have your 10-minute sex every night, or maybe every 2 nights, or every 3 nights, or every week. You have your 10-minute sex, and you are both satisfied with that. And because you are both satisfied with that, you don't feel the need or the rush to basically um, evolve further in your sexuality. Maybe you hit a conformism in your sexuality. Well, that is not good. You should be evolving sexually all days of your life, because sexuality is the most pure form of your spiritual energy. So if you are not evolving in that aspect, you are not evolving in all the other aspects. So let me tell you how I did it, or how I continue to do it. But most importantly, um, how I did it in the past, because I think it was like the most abrupt sexual programming that I have been elaborating for myself. So I was a very sexual guy, like back in the day. And what I mean by that, I am still a very sexual guy. But what I mean by that is that I was single. So by being single, 20 years old, in university, um, being Taurus as an my astrology, having my moon in Venus, I am very sexual guy. So when I was single, I had a lot of sexual relationships with women, a lot of experiences, right? And not sometimes irresponsible. Is something that I like to acknowledge, because it has been part of my growth to understand that my body's a temple, and for me to be able to evolve sexually, it was not necessary to expose myself to so many partners, but I did. And that is something that is my past, and I acknowledge it, right? I accept it. Is a thing that made me who I am today. But anyways, so I used to have a lot of sexual relationship, a lot of one night stands. When I went, I was also a very how can I can tell you this? A very party man. Like, I love parties, I love fraternities, I love to drink. I used to love to drink. Um, so I was going out almost every day, because I have the not only the ability, but also the effort and the discipline to maintain good grades and also party like hell. So I did that in, like, I think my first 5 years of university, 4 years in bachelor, one year in my doctoral program, master and doctoral at the same time. So, like, my first 5 years, I was like that. Maybe in the sixth year, I start evolving into a different kind of guy. But in those years, I was wild. But one thing that I start experimenting in my sexuality, it was the power of sexual energy, and what you can do if you cultivate your sexual energy. And if you understand Spanish, you can go to an episode that is called Cultivación Sexual, Derek Israel, Cultivación Sexual. And in that episode, I teach you how to cultivate your sexual energy. But what it basically means in a man, in a woman is different. And I teach that in the course Sexual Mastery. But in a man, it means that you don't ejaculate. when you are having intercourse. Why? Because in ejaculation, you deplete your energy. And if you want to cultivate your sexual energy, well, you can have sex and you can even have orgasms, but you need to prevent ejaculation, the externalization of this of the semen, right? Of the what we can call the vitalistic aspect of men, or the astral light, term for this substance. So what I started to do in that phase of my life it was that I said, okay, um, I will continue having intercourses, I will continue having sex with women, but I will not ejaculate in my intercourse. It doesn't matter what happened in the intercourse. It doesn't matter how beautiful, how extraordinary, how of a goddess is the woman. I will not ejaculate. And I start doing that. And I very rapidly notice how that evolved my whole life. Not only my sexual capacity, because if you don't ejaculate, you can continue almost forever, and your sexual stamina goes very to the top. Not only in that aspect I improved, but also in another aspects that demanded self-control, self-discipline, regulation, self-management. Because if I can control ejaculation, that is one of the most difficult things to do. Well, I extrapolated that into another areas of my life. But notice how that was an evolution for me. Notice how that was a, a program that I developed for myself to evolve, to evolve. So that is just one example that I have been putting myself sexually, but in my current state of life, I am more into applying Kama Sutra programs, tantric programs, alchemist programs. So I am in this phase of my life now that I have a stable partner, I have a wife. It's different. I have evolved socially as also. But now I continue with my programming. Even now, I continue experimenting in bed, different techniques, different styles, different technologies, because I understand that sex is not only sex. Sex, as everything else in life, is an evolution. Sex is not only sex. Sex is an evolution, as everything else in life. So I am being proactive. I am developing programs, systems, methods to evolve rapidly in that area of your life, of my life, right? So I want you to ask yourself, what type of program can you implement in your sexual life? And maybe you say, Derek, I don't know. Like, what type of thing can I do? I cannot provide you all the answers. You need to find this for yourself. But what I can say is that you should be studying a lot of Tantra, Kama Sutra, Taoism, sexual Taoism, sexual magic. Those are areas, put it in your notebook. Write them down. Because those are areas that you should be studying in your life. So if you want like a bypass, like a shortcut, and you understand Spanish at this moment, it's a good option for you to buy sexual mastery course at derekisrael.com, because if you buy that course, I already digested the information for you, and you don't need to go, to research all of this by yourself. I already did that. This is my job. This is what I do. But if you want to do it by your own, you definitely can do it also. You will spend more time, but it will be good for you, It will be good. All right. So in business, for example, how you can establish systems to evolve in your business. For example, one of my most significant evolutions in my business of Derek Israel is going right now, is happening right now in my life and in my career. And what is this evolution? If you have been following my work, I'm pretty sure that you know what is this evolution. It is the bilingual evolution. For the first 5 years of my career, I only did Spanish content. It is my mother language. It is my native language. And it's a language that I love. It's a language that I have put myself in different kind of evolutions to master. I have put myself in a lot of dictionaries, in a lot of oratory exercises, in a lot of reading and podcasting, voice acting exercises to master the language, to master the performance of speaking Spanish. And I believe, and maybe this is a narcissistic idea of mine, uh, but I believe that I reach a very good or proficient skill in Spanish. And I feel that I can express every idea with a highly complex and at the same time simple degree of specifications, and I can communicate in a very skillful way in Spanish because I have been going through programming and evolutions to develop that communicational aspect and communicational power, right, in Spanish. And I have been doing that systematically for the last 5 years. But I feel that I already reached a plateau. I'm not evolving more if I continue to do that. So one of the most drastic programmings that I am implementing right now is go bilingual. I will be writing on English. I will be doing podcasting on English. I will be doing my videos on English. I'm starting to record my courses on English. I will starting to write my books on English. And hopefully my courses, my books, my products will be on both languages for the benefits of people that only talk Spanish. But some of the content will be only on English because I will not record the same content twice, right? So some of the content will only be on English. And do you think, let's be honest. Do you think that this is easy for me? Do you think that I am here having a party? Oh yeah, I'm talking English, baby. Woohoo! No, this is a struggle. I'm burning myself in fire in front of thousands of people that will watch this episode through the history of time. I'm evolving right in your face because this is not my mother language. This is not my primary language. And I know that I mispronounce. And I know that sometimes I say things that don't make sense in English. I know that. But this is my evolution. This is the programming that I imposed on myself. Because I need to face this pain now if I want to benefit tomorrow. And maybe not now, but maybe in 1 year, 2 years, you will hear my fluidity in English almost like it was my primary language. That is my goal. You will not notice any kind of, you know, extreme disruptions in my language. And I know that I will sustain my accent, and I don't pretend to eradicate that I'm Hispanic. I am very proudful Hispanic. But also, I want to evolve. And I want to be able to reach new markets, new potential customers, right? New potential lives to transform. So I have established this program of most content on English. And I encourage you to do the same in your own business. Not to speak English, if that is not your thing, it's okay. But what type of program can you implement in your business that will break the plateau, that will break your comfort zone, and you will definitely go into a new ways of being, new ways of operating? I have noticed a little drop on numbers, drop of numbers, a reduction on numbers in my mastermind podcast since I changed it to English. And I knew that that's what's going to happen. Why? Well, one of the reasons may be, well, direct people, some people do not understand English. And if they don't understand English, they will not watch the episode, right? That is obvious. So they will only watch the episode on Spanish. Okay. But is that really the reason? In my mind, that is not the reason. In my mind, the reason is because they do not want to evolve. Because understanding English demands more work. Understanding English demands more hustle. And they just wanted to entertain themselves with personal development ideas, but they didn't want to burn themselves with the process. So when I said in the podcast of systems works better than goals that I will be doing podcasting in English, they got like, uh-oh, this is not for me. They could not apply what I have been teaching since we started this journey. So for me, this is a filter. I am filtering you guys to the ones who will stay, although you will face the adversity of one, understanding English, and two, understanding my English. Because maybe you understand English, but my English is not a perfect one, right? So you need to do a double effort sometimes to understand not only the complexity of the idea that I want to transmit to you, that is already complex, but also to understand with high degree of comprehension the language in which I am arresting these complex ideas. So yeah, I'm asking more for you. I'm asking more from you because I'm also demanding more from me. I'm demanding more from me. So I will continue doing this podcast on English. I don't know until when. Maybe forever. I don't know. Really, I don't know. Um, I just decided that the shows that I will be launching, the new shows I will be launching soon about business and marketing, all English, downloading the mind, all English. My next project, it will be called Black Project in 2023, hopefully all English. I just decided that because I want to evolve. And that will mean losing some followers. Yeah, that will mean that, definitely. But also this means opening myself to the new. Opening myself to the new opportunity, to the new challenge, to the new evolution, to the new Derek Israel. So not only learn by what I'm saying, learn by what I am doing. And things evolve, my friends. Things evolve. I was thinking also doing, and I have a new idea for the podcast. I don't know how I'm going to implement it, but there's this trend in podcast of what is called, I don't know if it is called like this, but is I have seen some of them calling themselves shortcasts. And basically the value proposal is podcast that you can consume in 15 minutes or less. So it's like mini podcasts. And I've been thinking about doing those, like varying between long formats, like 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, and maybe a little bit of small ideas or big ideas in small packages, right? Shortcuts. So I'm thinking about doing that also. So this podcast also evolved. It is inevitable. But what I encourage you is to put systems on place to evolve faster, to be proactive in your evolution. Also, you can implement programs in your physical aspects. I have been recommending for a long time now that you should implement intermittent fasting as an evolution in your life. Don't resist this idea. Just do your research. What is intermittent fasting? And implement it for 1 month. Just 1 month, 30 days. It will change your whole life. And you don't need to spend a lot of time without eating. You just will spend 16 hours without eating, and you then will spend 8 hours eating everything that you want. And if you do the math, if you mathematize reality, as I told you to do so, right? As I taught you how to do it in a previous episode that is called Matematiza la Realidad in Spanish. If you do the math, it is pretty obvious that, hey, you sleep 8 hours, right? So those 8 hours you are not eating. That's good. You already have 8. So when you wake up, you just spend the morning without eating, and you will reach 16 hours. And then at the hour 16, you eat. And that's it. And you start again. You eat for 8 hours, and then you don't eat for 16 hours. 8 of them you will be sleeping. So it's not a big deal. But it will be a big deal for your health. It will be a big deal for your body. So that is a program. That is a system that you can implement in your life. I have done it. My wife did it. We both changed forever after doing intermittent fasting. And, you know, it was worth it. Another programming that I do is the cold showers. I was thinking about this while I was doing my cold shower before coming to this podcast. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here in the winter in Arizona in a desert that is very cold in the night, and I am at 3 a.m. 3:30 showering myself with cold shower with cold water, and I'm like, this is one of my toughest programs that I have been implementing for the last 4 years of my life. Cold showers has been one of my toughest ones. But hey, I have been evolving so much because of that simple habit. So apply that to your life. Every day, just do a cold shower. You will have so many excuses to not do it. That's why you need to set the program. That's why you need to become strict with your own evolution. Also, you can implement psychological programs in your life, can become more proactive. Going to a psychotherapist, it is a psychological program. There's a lot of stigma with psychologists. Why? If you go to a psychologist and you talk your problems with a psychologist, you will find a lot of value on that. You will find healing in that if it is a good psychologist. Why you don't implement that? Why you don't read self-help books? That is a program. Why you don't establish a program in which you're going to read a self-help book every 2 weeks? One book every 2 weeks. Not big deal. You can do it. You can read 15 pages per day. Not big deal. Half an hour while you are in the bathroom. You can do it. Not big deal. But do you do it? How proactive are you engineering your own psychology? Yeah, for example, I am here sitting. Let me show you. I am here sitting in this bowl. I don't have a chair. I have a bowl. Why? Why the hell I have a bowl instead of a chair? Well, I have been doing this program for like 6 months. I don't know if I gonna sustain this program. I haven't seen so much benefits of sitting in a bowl while I am doing the podcast, because what I learned, what I read, it was that if you sit in a bowl instead of a chair, you will stay active in your lower back just to maintain the balance. And that's why you see me like this in the video, like if I am floating in a water. And the promise was that you will become stronger in your back if you use a bowl instead of a chair. And I have been testing this. This has been a program, a physical program for me. I haven't noticed too much of a change, to be honest with you. I don't feel like more strong in my back, but I will do it a little bit more, and then I will decide if I go back to a chair or if I stay with the ball. But I needed the program to test it. I needed to do it, right? So that is just little samples. Spiritual programs. When was the last time that you program a spiritual evolution in your life. I have told you before a lot of spiritual programs that I have been implementing in my life. For example, that video that I recommend you to do, not to watch, to do with me, about serenity, the metaphysical yoga that I already recommended to you in my YouTube. Go check that out. That is a spiritual program for me. What I'm doing on TikTok, that is a spiritual program, because what I'm doing is I am going live doing this metaphysical yoga, and I am evolving, right? I am teaching people how to evolve, but also I am organizing in my mind my new program, my new course that I will be releasing. I don't know when, maybe next month or maybe the next after that one, that it will be called metaphysical yoga, right? It is a combination of all these techniques that I'm bringing together, and I have been doing for years, but now I'm filming myself doing it. I'm recording it. I'm transmitting, streaming live. So, but that is in the ultimate analysis, that is just an experiment, and that is just a program that I'm developing. It's an evolution, nothing more. One of the things that I will be doing pretty soon is that I will be traveling to Peru to conduct an ayahuasca trip. So if you're familiar with ayahuasca, you know what I'm talking about. But it's basically a drink that is legal there, that you drink it and you can have spiritual visions and you can have psychedelic states. And I will be doing that pretty soon. And I will be documenting my journey. So if you like to see that, well, stay tuned to my YouTube channel, because I will be doing that, I think, in the next 2 months. So I need to, make sure with this whole pandemic stuff, I am trying to understand how it will proceed. And I'm doing my research, but yeah, that is a decision that I took already. So that is for me a spiritual program to promote my own evolution, right? But what is yours? Do you have one in mind? Are you setting a spiritual retreat soon? Are you setting a routine of yoga, of breathing, of meditation, of reading sacral books, the Bible, the Quran, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita of Hindu philosophy, the Yoga Sutras? Are you reading divine books? Yes or no? If not, well, that's why you don't evolve. You don't program your evolution. You don't go through systems of evolution, strict systems of growth. Also, with your intellectual dimension, how you can grow intellectually, how you can evolve. Well, maybe listening to this podcast, it is a program for you to evolve intellectually, and that's good. That's pretty good. You are being proactive. By watching this podcast every day, you are training your brain to understand new ideas and you are becoming more intellectual. But this is not enough. It will be more powerful if you actually do the research by yourself and if you actually do the task that I tell you to do. In that way, you will be in a more holistic programming for your own evolution. Also in your social life. And this is going to be the last one. What programs are you implementing socially, my friend? One of the experiments that I used to do a lot, I don't do that anymore too much. Sometimes I do it, but I used to do it a lot, is every time that I was talking to someone, I just try to love him. Like I put all my effort during the conversation to love the person, to love, to love, to love, to love, to love, to love, to love. And in that moment that I was doing that experiment, I was working with this heart chakra and with the jum. With that mantra, that is the mantra of love. YAM, jam. And when I was speaking to people, I was just trying to project all the love that I have for them, including when I was talking to people in a hostile way. Maybe we were having a discussion or something, a difference. I continually try to love the person that I was talking to, right? And that was a very good experiment for me. It opened my kindness. It opened my empathy. It opened my compassion a lot. I became a better human being by doing that. But that is just an example of what you can do in your programming, and just put social experiments into place. For example, there is a good experiment that I also did for a couple of times, just smiling to everyone that crossed me. I don't care if it was the most angry person in the world. If the person look at me like this, and I just did like, hey, and I smiled. And I did that like for a month. It was pretty good. Also, another experiment that I did, and this one I am doing it right now, is every time that I'm talking to a person, I am telling myself, oh, that person is you. This is me. This is me. This is me. This is me. And I repeat that in my mind. And what that has made, the benefit of that practice is that I become more more attuned and more connected with the source of life, because the source of life is everything, every one of us, and it's the same. So by me reminding myself that I always talking to this to myself, not as an ego, right? Not as Derek, but myself with capital S. The self as the archetype. I will be discussing that soon. The self as the whole, the energetic component of existence. I'm already always interacting with that part. And I remind myself that every moment, in every interaction, and that make me more open to it, because you are open to what is yours. You are open to the thing that you can identify with. So if you say, oh, that is not me, that is not me, that is not me, you are dividing. You're not uniting. So anyways, those are just simple programs that I have implemented in my life. But most important, I want you to establish your own programs in your life, your own experiments. And in the final analysis, those experiments will help you to evolve faster, to be better as a human being. Okay? So, all right, I'm wrapping up. I'm Derek Israel, Dr. Derek Israel. If you found this episode of value, please share it with a friend. Just share it in your social media or share it directly with a friend. This will help me to spread this message with more effectiveness. Also, I encourage you to look for the sexual mastery course. in my in the description. You can go to derekisrael.com. You can go to the link, and in that way you will be able to read all the information, all the things that include in the course. It's a course that you can do in your own time, in your own space. Everything is pre-recorded. Yes, it's in Spanish for now, but if you understand Spanish, you will benefit a lot. Maybe soon I will be doing it on English for you as well. So thank you, and I see you in the next evolution, not episode, evolution.